What's up, Relay? This is Peter Bromka. I have Lindsey Hein here, and we have Erika Kemp dispatching in from Costa Rica. Welcome, Erika. And we're so excited to hear about your run yesterday. It was a big weekend. We had cross country. We had, what else do we have? We
Houston?
had Valencia, and then it all builds up to Houston on Sunday morning, which just felt like the gifts kept on rolling in. What was it like being there?
Houston is so fun. It's such a great place to start the year, and everyone's always like really excited to be there, even though like me and Susanna especially like came into it and Houston's always got a great field and everyone goes there to run super fast. So it's a really funny place to go when you're not super fit, which is where we're at because we're like just getting it together. We have some spring marathons that, like on the docket. So like we just need to get training started. So it's like intimidating to go there when people are like, I'm going for the American record and you're like, I'm trying to see where I'm at right now. But everyone's just like so stoked to be there. And it's like the first time of the year. It's after the holidays. It's the first time you get to see everybody. So like the energy is just like unmatched.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about your race though? Like what did that tell you about where you are?
I'm way ahead of schedule as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, great.
Yes.
I was gonna say your time was really fast.
During the race, I would say from miles like 2 to like 6, where like I was literally like leading our little group. I was just thinking I have no business running this pace right now. Like I have
Nice.
not done anything in practice that would warrant the confidence to run this time. But I also like I love Houston. I have literally PB'd every time I've run there. So I was like, between that and just the lifetime experience and like the vibes on race day, I was like, I might as well go for it. And like if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But there was nothing in training to tell me I was in PB shape. I was like, I'll be lucky if I break 70 today. But then everything kind of came together and I was like, you know what? We're not so bad right now.
What was it like being back like a year later after running such a wildly fast time in the marathon? And like how were your feelings being like, I'm doing the half this time? It's a totally different stakes here.
It was fun, but also, like, I ran so well in the marathon that it was, like, a little spooky. Because when I showed up to do the marathon, I
Mm.
was, like, coming off of, like, a DNF at the trials and, like, on paper, I'd only run, like, 2:30 something, so there was, like, literally no pressure, and then I came back and it's, like, at the expo, Brooks had this, like, giant picture of me that said Houston Marathon with my PB on it. So it was like, okay. But then and even, like, on the start line when we're warming up, the announcers are like, "And Erika Kemp, who ran the full last year and was 2nd overall, like, blah, blah, blah. She's trying the half today." And I was like, "I sure am." But it's a different event. So, like, it was fun to, like, have even more, like, recognition around Houston. It just kinda, like, made the race a little bit more special, but it was also
Mm.
nice to switch it up because they are, like, 2 different events.
Man, you are the ambassador for it, though. Yeah, like between if you've really done well in the full and the half, then it's like, well, maybe the 5K. Yeah, maybe next year the
Yeah,
5K on
maybe next year.
Saturday.
I want to know Erica's
Um,
opinion on what Matt was saying last week.
what was that
Erica,
again?
Matt was trying to say that he thinks Houston half
Oh,
should be the USA half marathon championships, and I'd like to hear the opinion of a professional runner on this topic.
You know, I haven't quite filled out my conflict of interest sheet for the USATF Distance Committee. So I don't really know how much I can talk about like those things, but my personal opinion is that I mean it's great. The only thing is that like it does get a little messier when you have a US championship inside of a race that's not a US championship, like how Cherry Blossom is, where like you still have the international field, but like you're also co-hosting a US champ. So like even though so and so finishes like 3rd overall, they're like the US champion. So it's like
mm,
it's not bad. And it's such a great event. It's definitely like something people have thought about, but I think people also do really enjoy having like a pure US only championship event without the like because I don't know if like Houston would be willing to give up that international field because like why would you? Like it's sick to like watch people like come to your city and like potentially chase world records.
yeah,
So yeah, we'll see. I don't have like a
interesting.
hard feeling one way or the other.
Matt was very passionate about that last week, and I had never even thought about it. I hadn't even given it a consideration. I guess the only thing I was thinking is like, I feel like a lot of the pros go run Houston as exactly what you just said you did. Like,
Yeah.
let me see
Like the
where I'm at.
timing of it is like people coming off of their fall marathons or like literally just getting back from the holidays to start further like spring build. So it's like a weird time of year to be really, really fit unless you're doing something in like February, which like there are some people doing like Sevilla in like next month. So like that makes sense, but that's like a small handful of people.
The half marathon's so funny. I really try. It takes focus for me to appreciate it as not just like a stepping stone to the marathon. And I know that's silly, but it just,
I
you know,
think
like,
it's
'cause,
closer to the 10K than it is to the
yeah,
marathon.
totally. And I appreciate that, but it just, yeah, when people run fast in the half, I'm like, okay, when is their debut or when's their next big race? And I'm like, no, just appreciate it for what it is. Yeah, I liked that Susanna, she dropped just like the sickest caption where she's like, with only a few weeks back training. I was very excited. I'm like, oh, brutal. Just like, but yeah, it was great to see the
Shots
clip of
fired.
you two running together, cruising down the
Just
street.
wait
It
till
was
we
great.
get fit. Give us like 2
Yeah.
months.
All right. All right. All right.
Yeah, talk to us about that camaraderie, that Brooks running camaraderie.
It was so fun. And it's like, it's one of those things you don't plan because like we have no idea like where we're at fitness wise. Even like if we went through our training logs together, which is just like not what we do when we're at dinner, we talk about like normal people things. And this time
Okay.
it was like us getting her husband and my boyfriend together. We were like, we need them to bond this weekend so they can be like
Yes.
spectating buddies and mission success. So yeah, we just kind of went for it. I know Susanna likes to go out hard. She went out a little
Mm.
harder than we did, but we ended up catching up to her. Like Dakota caught up to me and Jessica Day after like 4 or 5 miles, and then we caught up to Susanna around like 7, and then we just got to like work together, like keeping the pace honest for the next like 6 miles to the finish, and then with like 400 to go, I was like, I could run a 400 right now, which is great. But it was really nice because Susanna and I like ran together in the women's 10K back in June. So we were just like, when we found each other in the race, we're like, we can grind together for like a
Mm.
while. So like, this is going to be fun. So it was just nice. It's always just like encouraging and just like makes it a little more fun, but also just like a bit of a relief when you have a familiar face near you. Cause like I like Dakota's great, Jessica's great, but I don't know them as well as like I know Susanna. So there is like a comfort in that. And Brooks is a sponsor of Houston. So there's a massive Brooks cheer zone. It's like really nice for them to like see us together. So just like the fact that it worked out like very organically was just like, we're having a great day.
Did you say anything to Susanna when you caught up to her? Or
No,
could you
'cause
get anything out?
no, no, no. It was because, and I told her after when we were cooling down. So Susanna warned us over the summer when we were getting ready for Tokyo that she has, because someone asked us in a meeting about like our internal monologues and like our
Uh-huh.
mantras or whatever. And she was like, oh, I talk to myself. And we were like, what do you mean? And she's like, oh, like out loud. And
Out
like
loud.
Whoa.
I could not keep up with her in Tokyo. So I did not hear it. But and I think the 10K was just like too short and like too fast because you're like actually like winded. But every time I thought about like saying something to her, I could hear her like mumbling to herself. So I was like, she doesn't
No,
need me. I was like, words aren't necessary for me. She's got it.
that's
Sorry to
so
So that was
interrupt
good.
great for me.
yourself,
I
but I
finally
had
got to
something.
hear it.
I love that so much. As a everyday runner, I do that too. I'll be like, "Come on,
Aw.
go." Like I just kind of like
Yeah.
say things like that, or like, kind of just like talking myself up. Does she
Yeah.
I mean, I do kind of like see who's around, but um did did you hear what she was saying? Like did you hear the words she was saying?
Yeah, a couple times, like, especially because we kind of there were just, like, different stretches of the race where different people feel better, and, like, our group was always together, but it kind of rotated, like, who was in front. So whenever she was, like, behind me, I could kind of hear her just saying, like, be strong," like,
Oh,
things like that. Just, like, stay on it, which is funny because like, if I didn't see her, like, next to me, I would, like, get ready to say that, and then I would hear her saying it to herself, and I was like, "She doesn't need me." Like, she's got it.
I can't
But
believe
it was
I'm
She's
cool.
really
just
I
good.
now
never like
learning this.
experienced it, but she did tell us she does it. So I was like, that was fun for me to like get the firsthand viewing of that.
I love that. I can't believe I feel like I've probably interviewed her like 4 or 5 times, and I don't think I've ever heard that she does that. So this is breaking news on the Relay podcast.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, like self-talk is important. And like they tell us in like psych class, like, like literally like verbalizing those things is like very powerful. But I don't know if I could ever bring myself to like do it, to like say it out loud, like to me, like maybe
yeah.
like in the mirror at home, but like there is something like empowering about just like saying it, like no matter where you are, no matter who's around you. Like it was cool.
Yeah,
Totally.
man.
So
Owning it.
you ran 68:42. What was your PR before that?
69:10.
Oh, okay. So that's a decent little chunk for a day where you were just seeing where you were.
Yeah, I was stoked.
Were you so pumped? And then Susanna's 68:44. So essentially you guys finished together.
Yeah. We were literally like side by side until the last like 400. And then I was just like
Nice.
a step in front of her.
Nice. What are
Awesome.
you doing in Costa Rica?
Fun getting away from the cold because it's been like the coldest start to any winter I've had since moving to New England. So just trying to soak up some sun for a couple days before we dive back into it.
We were also talking about on Relay last week, like the people who live in like the Northwest or like the really cold winters are set up for success in Houston because it tends to be pretty cold. Would you agree with that?
I mean, definitely last year, like when I got down there and race day conditions were like in the 20s and super windy, it was like, is this not a great forecast? Yeah. Is this exactly what I've been training in all winter? Yes. So, like, even though I wished it was warmer and less windy, those were the identical conditions I had been training in. So, at least I was prepared for them. So, you definitely have that.
Yeah, and I just feel like it is good conditions. You can wear a layer. I mean, it's fun to see the character, even like the personalities of like, oh, you went with that layer, or she went with her old T-shirt, or
I
it's
literally
just
wore a long sleeve t shirt last
uh,
year
yeah.
It's so good.
You're
I
like, oh,
remember those
here we
pictures.
go.
and I
Yeah,
wasn't cold. I have no regrets.
we were super psyched. It was fun to watch. I got up and just to see the half marathon times roll in, and then just to sit there and watch the marathoners roll in. I was curious what it was like to be on the ground seeing like the American debuts in the half, and then I was just super pumped to see Zaire run so well. And then like I know that we had heard he like could potentially represent America, but then to like wrap himself in an American flag, you're like, okay, this felt like a coming
Oh.
out party. And then it's just
Yeah.
like an announcement of like there had been sort of chatter amongst friends of mine on a run, like, it's going to take like 206 type fitness in the trials in a few years to really
Mm.
like be on the podium. And now you're like, okay, yeah, we're going to have multiple people who are running at that level. Who knows exactly what the course will be or what the weather will be, but like it starts to solidify it in an exciting way.
Yeah. It's super exciting. And his post race interview I saw on like the broadcast on the TV when I got back to my room because you're done by 8 a.m. if you run the
Oh,
half,
yeah.
which is pretty sick. But it was really, really sweet. Just to like hear him talk about that experience of like being draped in the American flag and getting his citizenship and just like dreaming about that moment. And it was cool.
I don't know. I'm just super geeked out on how these halves will lead to fulls, like what it means for, when it's not just a time trial. Like it's like getting those times up and then being like, okay, here we go once they start racing against each other. Because I was talking to someone, a friend who knows a good bit about the sport, and she was like, remember, not all these athletes will be at their top, at their current ability in 2 years. It's just sort of like the nature of things. And so you can look at the list and be like, okay, but who's going to have it? It's not only about thinking about 2 years from now. What are conversations like when you're like thinking, chatting about the spring? Like, how do pros handle that sort of like, where will you be? When will I see you again?
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a super normal question when you like see someone for the first time in a while. You're like, how are things going? Where are you training right now? What's
Mm-hmm.
next?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a very common theme when I asked people what was next. So it's
Okay.
going to be a spicy spring of racing. I was like, oh,
Boston.
everyone's going head to head and everything. Like that's, but
All
it'll be
right.
super cool. You don't get to see that many matchups that often, like you were saying. So I think we'll get to see that, and everyone should be stoked about it.
When you just said earlier that you think the half is more 10K, I mean, you couldn't be more right. I was just right before this call, I was interviewing Drew Hunter, and I was like, talk about your evolution from like 15 to, now he's done a 10 miler. And he's like, basically what I figured out is you just have to be good at everything if you're going to be good at
Yeah.
anything in these distances. And I mean, he's talking the mile all the way to the half. So it's like, that's kind of like one big like morph. And then the marathon's just like a completely separate situation. So when you said that, I was thinking back to the conversation like, oh, that is so true. Because if you're going to be good at a 10 miler, you're probably going to be good at the half, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the way people train for like I mean, not your average, but like your best 10K runners are probably doing the exact same training as like some of your best half marathoners. Like you don't really have to change much of anything and you'll be just fine. But then that marathon is quite the jump.
See, that's the thing, like the Grant Fisher thing where people are like, he might run a half, and you're like, oh, might run a half, and I'm like, but he's not going to run a full for a while. Like, he's too good. So
like he
I
could run a
know
half
not to.
today, and it would be unbelievable. But
really
like,
fast.
the marathon takes time,
and it would potentially like be an injury risk that I don't want to see him take. Like I want to see him like stay doing. When you're racking up global medals on the track, it's like, let's keep you there. Or even if he's devastatingly like 5th place by like less than a second, you're like, he's he's in the window. Yeah, it's still super fun to watch. Wait, speaking of fun to watch, can I go down to Tallahassee, Florida, where, as my friend mentioned, he called it like American Ninja Warrior Cross Country?
Someone literally said it looked like a Spartan race, and I thought they were kidding. And then I scrolled through the photos, and I was like, no, they might have been right.
That's crazy. It's almost like a little bit comical.
It was like, I was worried it was going to be a joke, but then visually it was very fun that every time they cut, they did some good drone action, but then when they would cut, you'd be like, it was a very different view. You're like, oh, wow. They would cut and show an obstacle. My favorite was probably the blue puddle that all the volunteers had their hands out like, no, you can't run on the side. You have to go through the puddle. Like they were little children.
Oh, that's funny.
And for the longer races, it kind of like definitely broke it up, and it was a different. Maybe the most dramatic that was the least visually impressive was just like the very thick mud that they'd created through the angle of the camera. You couldn't really see how muddy it was, but all the athletes just looked like stuck. But then, like the jumping over the alligators and the fact that the final alligator was big, like a bigger log. You're like, what in the world? I think I am a traditionalist, but it opened my mind to there being, like the English would probably say, we'll just put mud everywhere and put hills and make it slick, and like it's difficult. Whereas the Americans are like, what if we built a hill and then there's a artificially light blue pond? And I don't know.
I think that was like the hard thing to square, was like Tallahassee was like the flat, fast course with like the baby hill. So I was like, how on earth is this the same thing?
I feel like they put in a pitch years ago. I'd love to see their pitch document. They were like, don't worry, we'll make it harder. And they're like,
right.
Okay. I mean, I know not everything's about speed and it's cross country, but like, I wouldn't hate to see those guys just absolutely torch the classic course.
Would have been cool.
Lindsey, the Tallahassee course is just lightning fast.
Okay.
Yeah. And
it's a road race.
It's a road race almost. Of course, I ran it in December and just like blew sky high with the humidity. Like,
fair.
The thing that's singed into my memory is in Club Cross, you wear bibs on your front with a number, and on the back it has your age, so that you can see which races you're technically a part, like who you're racing in these subcategories. It's a little bit silly, but because a race is a race. But like, I had just turned 40, and to watch a 50-year-old man like roll by me at 6K and be like, I have
That's funny.
nothing. I have nothing. It presented its own difficulty, but yeah, I ran it in Vaporflies because it was a super fast course. And then this was just like, what are you talking about? I was like, and they had that like image of the state capitol that they walked out from. Everyone will have to go check out the photos. It was totally ridiculous, but I got very excited because, again, I've mentioned how being part of Relay has forced me to really look at the storylines we tell ourselves, and like we're talking about it and then we're revisiting what we talked about. And so track is a young person's sport, and Ethan Strand looked like $1,000,000 leading off our relay team. I'm a huge fan of the 4x2K relay because it was just like all gas and all these talented young fast runners. But then also he just looked awesome. Handed off in the lead and was just ripping. And you're like, hey, I'm excited to see what the young guy does, I guess soon, indoor. We'll see. But yeah, I'm a big fan of all the variety of events that they chucked at that thing. We're always trying to be positive here on Relay, but Sage Herta-Klecker made the team, and she looked like, I have gotten myself into this is like, it's one thing to go from 800, or she can run miles, to 2K. It's another to throw in all sorts of obstacles and water and mud. It's just, although mud is kind of like the 800, like running through mud is sort of like the final. Yeah. But she looked a little bit.
She's definitely 800 mile, not 804. So
yeah,
I think 2K.
So it was just, we had a qualifying event as part of that day in Portland last month, and it looked like total madness. Like there's no time to waste when the race is going to be like 5 to 6 minutes. So it adds a fun element to cross country, which cross country is always fun, but sometimes it's like a war of attrition where you're like, sure, that person's stronger. Less like squirrely, people like spinning out and getting stuck like Mario Kart style.
Wait, Peter, you just mentioned Portland. Is this where I get to celebrate the IU victory this weekend? Is this where I get to celebrate? There were so many sad Duck fans in Atlanta.
Lindsey Hein packed her whole family into the car on Friday morning, bright and early, to drive to Atlanta to watch the absolute drubbing of. I'm really going to try to stay positive here. Indiana team did really well. The hater in me is like the 25-year-old men beat up on the 20-year-old boys.
I know.
On
everybody's
team.
saying that.
Everyone's
funny.
saying they're the oldest team in history, but that's okay. You guys are looking really good, and if you have a national title in a few weeks, then there you go, in a week and a bit.
Well, I think that people, how much do people pay attention that IU has just been so bad at football for so many years that this is like so exciting for IU fans. I mean, they used to like throw out tickets to students, like, please come to the game, please come into the stands, But it was interesting being at the game because when we got that first pick six in the first like 20 seconds of the game, I have never heard a stadium so loud in my entire life. It was as electric as you think it was. But then Oregon came back and Portland got a touchdown right away. And Glenn looked at me and was like, this is going to be a really hard game. They are so good.
It was not a hard game.
I'm going to vomit. I'm going to throw up right now. This is awful.
Well, we were at dinner and there were like TVs like out on the patio, but we were inside. So just like the way our table was seated, I could only see half the screen of the actual TV, and then I could see the reflection of the other half on the other side of the patio. So like directly in front of me, I could only see the half that showed the Oregon score line, and then I had to look behind me to see like the Indiana score line. And we would be mid-sentence and someone would be like, they scored again. And we were like, what? And then we'd tell a story and look back and we're like, how are they up 30 points? We're like, what happened?
What is going on?
And like it started to sound like a joke every time said they scored again. We're like, shut up. And then we'd look and we're like, 50? Like, literally, what is going on? I didn't think you were allowed to do that in football. That was crazy.
I had maybe an emotionally protective realization, which is that like it feels really bad to get very deeply emotionally invested in a team that you have zero control over. And it I know this is like professional sports, fine.
In general.
But I realized in general, like welcome, Peter, to being an American sports fan. But like I spend most of my time pleasantly. I described it as like diversifying my emotional investment, like at a craps table where you just have all these
Mhm.
little bets spread around. Like, I mean, if I wake up on Sunday morning early, and I'm really hoping a handful of people run well at the Houston Marathon,
Mm.
but like it's really evenly spread, and yeah, there's gonna be some stinkers of the races, and then some people are gonna be like meh, and then you're gonna be like, no way, like Zahir, like I mean, I knew you were a good runner, but way to put it together. But I'm not like, this makes me feel like I've overly hedged my bets, but like I wasn't that invested in his race. I just was like
Mhm.
very happy to see. So it's a very positive experience.
You're saying because with running, there's like you
There's
get
so much going
lots of
on.
good, some middle,
Yeah.
and some bad. But if you're all in on a team, the team
Yes.
wins or loses. It's
The
different
team
than
wins
this
or
like
loses.
individual.
And
Yeah.
then you start to like rationalize yourself. You're thinking one way or another. Like at some point, Indiana was so good that you're like, well, they're just the better football team. Like, you're just like trying to emotionally protect. My friends are texting like, this was a rebuilding year. Like, remember that.
Mm.
You're
Well,
doing
We've
that
already said,
during the game.
like, it was just like
Yeah.
awful.
That's tough to watch.
It's
I
really
will
tough.
say I was at one point I sat down and I just sighed and I was just like, I feel bad for Oregon. And my boys were like, you're not allowed to feel bad for Oregon. And I was like, I do though. This sucks. This is just like, especially the fans that traveled. I'm like, what a like
Mhm.
bummer to be at the game. And I will say it did get a little bit boring. I was like,
well,
That's what
yeah,
I'm
you
okay.
guys are,
saying. At some point, you're up by like 30. Like,
you're too good.
Just a
it's not even
boring.
fun anymore.
Yeah, Erica, there was one moment where like my emotions were unbridled. Like Matt texted a group chain with me and Lindsay and was like, "Hey, Oregon, stick to track and field." And I was like,
Jeez.
"We are perennially one of the best teams in the nation.
Yeah,
Every team in the nation would wish they had our level of success."
that's
And people
funny.
like to talk a lot of trash, and I get it. And until the Oregon Ducks win the national title in the next 2 years, which is going to happen, everyone's going
You
to
heard
talk
it
trash
here
and say
first.
we've accomplished nothing. Yes, exactly.
But you know
Um,
what? At the end of the game, I kept my husband took my kids to the National Football Hall of Fame the next day, and naturally, I was like, I have to rest my foot because I had that
oh
surgery
yeah.
4 weeks ago, and I actually really did need to rest it because it was feeling very swollen from walking around so much and chasing my kids around. And so when they went, I sat and like I was just like in a deep scroll of like post game coverage, and I saw so many sweet videos of, like, one of the Oregon coaches giving, what's his
The
name?
pick six
D'Angelo
football.
Ponce, like, his pick six ball. I saw, like, pictures of 2 Oregon teammates and 2 Indiana teammates taking a picture together because 'cause I'm assuming they played in high school or something at one point or maybe college at one point, and I was just like there was so much,
Cute.
like, goodness and, like, happiness and just, like, good camaraderie, like, videos of the Oregon coaches, like, genuinely, like, giving the IU players like a pat on the back kind of thing at the end of the
Mhm.
game. So I was just like, I love sports. I just love sports. It's just so
Oh,
good.
okay. All right. I appreciate this. I didn't want. I was
You
not
didn't want
emotionally.
IU to win.
No, I didn't want you to win, but I also wasn't here for sympathy. But I appreciate your
No,
appreciation of
I
sports. That's it.
like really felt good. And so
Okay.
I also though am really glad that we won. Okay, you guys can get back to running. I just had to bring it
All
up. I was
right.
like, "Oh yeah, this happened this
Football.
weekend."
I feel like Houston is just. Eric and I were discussing before we started recording that more people need to go. They need to
Mm.
organize their holidays in such a way that they can, not get too stressed out. They can like take a day away from like that locked in zone, but then fly to Houston and run a great race and like rip along with everyone. I just was super excited for my athletes who flew down there. Even the fact that the half and the full go together, it creates a really great momentum.
When does it split?
Just before 8 miles.
Do you like that?
Yes, for the half, it's a little less of like a thing because the pros in the like athlete development, like the ADP groups, start like by themselves at the front. And like we start by ourselves and we're running so fast that like we're not really mixed in with everyone. So like
Yeah.
I didn't get to experience that like full start of everyone all together until I did the marathon last year. And that was wild. It was fun because you have so much people, like so many people to run with. And then when the half marathoners split, like just before 8 miles, it gets quiet, like
Yeah.
really,
Oh, I
really
bet.
fast. And also like just the way the marathon course kind of goes out, it like goes through like a neighborhood at first. So like you go from having dozens of people to run with to like a handful and then it's silent. So it is like a shift in energy like very quickly when you're doing the full, but it's still a good course. The fans pick back up eventually, but it is kind of like a wild split.
How happy were you that you were like not running the marathon this weekend?
I mean, it would have been a bummer to train for it. It was just not a good stretch of training back home, just with like the weather, the ice, the wind. It just like I got so lucky last year doing my build at home. We just had like perfect weather days on every
Hmm.
workout day. So it was like just enough of a break that we could like get some really quality work in. But I mean, the conditions are perfect. I was like shocked that like a lot of the women didn't run faster. Granted, hats off to Callie because she literally just ran Honolulu, so
I
Right?
know.
I couldn't
Like,
double back and run that.
I thought, and Sarah Hall too just ran CIM. I mean, that
And
a
she was
little bit.
planning on doing like 30K for a training run, and then was like, "I feel fine. I'm just gonna finish it." And I was like, "Okay."
I wonder
wait,
when she made that
Sarah,
when she made that
right?
decision. Yeah, Sarah.
Because
She's a
that's what
baller.
I had seen. I like woke up to her crushing it, and I was like, in my memory, she was going to pace someone for a good long chunk. And like, when
Mhm.
did that? You just say, is it an audible? You can do it like
If
12 hours
you're
out, or is
Sarah
it?
Hall, you can decide in the moment. You can get to 30K and be like, "I'm having a great run. I'm just gonna go for it."
Just gonna
I know.
keep going.
Ditch the watch.
Yep.
Well,
Another
she
one
definitely,
lost to the
yeah,
void.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Just throw it off.
She
She
is one
literally
of
is coming
one.
out with a book called "I Love the Grind," or
I
what's the
Yes.
love
title
the
of her book?
grind.
Yeah, love the grind. And I'm like, if you love the grind as much as her, and you, my college buddies were like, did you see the performance by the woman who ran in college at the same era we did? Like, mind
That's
explosion.
a wild way to say it.
I know. We were just like, we have to differentiate, disassociate that we're of the same
That you're the
era. It's
same
like,
age.
no.
Yeah, so Peter, what's your excuse?
Oh yeah, what is my excuse? We gotta go.
You're
Oh
not throwing
man,
the
yeah.
perimenopause card out here.
Hey, maybe I am. Wait, I wanted to tell you both, two women on the call about I got home from my long run and I had run with some friends and ran into some women I know. And I was like, being a guy is so great because the bar is so low that to like clear the bar set for men is just like, you barely have to lift your knees. You're just like, woo. We ran into a woman who I don't run with that often, but she trains with a woman who I did a workout with last week. This woman is a very good runner. And I'm coming back from being injured. And I'm like, hey, this would be great. She's awesome to train with. So we did a 3 by 10 minute, like up tempo section with 5 minute jog.
Mhm.
And I mean, I even put it on Strava. I was like, got dusted. Like at some point I was like, you're good.
Love it.
And like, she ran ahead, and then cause you circle up in the in-betweens.
Yeah.
And I didn't think much of it. That's great. And so then this other woman, this friend of the woman I'd trained with, was like, "Oh yeah, she said you were like great to train with, and you like weren't even a bad sport about it at all." When she went ahead, and I'm like,
Which is like the least you could do.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, are most people bad sports when you're out of
Peter, have
breath?
you met men?
I was like,
Because the answer is yes.
yeah, the answer, I guess, is yes. I was more just like, damn, this is clearly, because you can try to stay attached, like in that, running down the road type of way. And then you're like, and I am officially detached the moment the
Mhm.
road ticks up. But yeah, I don't even know. I didn't talk trash to my friend. I didn't huff and puff and like pout about it. I don't know. I mean, I'm very much like, it's fun. I'm still in the positive upswing of coming back to fitness. So
Yeah,
everything
but
feels like,
Peter, in defense
I
of
know.
you,
Are you
if
telling us when you get fit, you're going to go back to being a monster?
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Get out of my way. I'm not trying to set up like, let's make it clear. I'm not trying to like lob up like compliments for myself. I just was like, geez, this is a
but like, let
rough.
me give you a
Yeah.
compliment because in defense of
No,
you are
let's trash
really
on
good
men.
you're really good at that though. Like how many times did you pace Emily Infeld in workouts and then she just like, took off and
Skips
blew your
away.
socks
Yeah.
off in the 200 of the workout? I mean, I think you're kind of known for being
This is
a
running though. I mean,
uplifter
this
of
is
women in
like
running.
training with Emily led me to my lifetime 5K PR. I will never run faster than that. And it was totally awesome. So, I mean, these things, that's like, it's all available to us in this amazing sport that we adore. But I'm just like, man, I'd heard about the like bad behavior of men on the road when they get passed by women. And that sort
Totally.
of
That's a
like
thing.
that gets like talked about online more. It was more like,
The man that doesn't
man,
let you pass him. He just keeps
yeah,
speeding up and you're like, "Dude, I'm just trying to run. Like, I don't
Right.
care if
yeah.
Like,
I'm running faster than you or not, but I am, so just let me go."
If
yeah.
anything, I've done the like I've heard about that enough that I do the thing where like I stop and check my phone and just like change
Give him
my
some
like if
space.
yeah, just like let you go do your thing. But yeah, being a guy who's not a total jerk is rated. How's it rated? Like it's underrated. It's not that hard to do and you get lots of bonus points. So yeah, I'm a big
Yeah.
advocate for it. Yeah.
That
Big
is a little
advocate for
bit
being nice.
that's a
Being
little bit
kind.
awkward though. Like, what if you were just running like a tempo type pace and then the person's doing like an interval or something? There ends up being some back and forth, and maybe we think it's like them being a big a-hole, but like they're
Mm,
actually just doing a workout too. Usually you can tell though. Usually you can tell. You're
yeah.
just both kind of running the same path and they just can't handle the pass.
My sense is it's usually comes about with people who are not even accustomed to changing speeds. Like
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
it like they're both like, well, when you run, because for a lot of runners, it's like when they run, they just go
They just
pretty hard,
run.
pretty darn hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
But
they're
this is
like,
I'm gonna make this hurt today and every day.
if they fall in line, then suddenly like the men turn it into a tempo effort. And they just start grinding and then yeah, that's kind of sketchy. Anyways, I was looking at news reports about running. I don't personally want to spend much attention on the enhanced games at this point, seeing that they
Oh,
sign more
that's what you were
people.
talking about.
Well, there's a couple different topics,
I
some
was
that
like,
are
today was
more
a big
positive.
news day.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of news. There was both drug busts. That, uh, what do you make of these things? Like Albert Career provisionally suspended. Like this is where it's
Yeah.
these things get muddy where you're like a provisional suspension. I'm just sort of like, how far
Yeah.
into it do I want to go? I don't know.
I
And
mean,
then
for your happiness, you don't want to go very far.
yeah,
Let the powers that be do their job, hopefully, fingers crossed. But it's so like when I saw that, I like read it out loud and my boyfriend was like, "Oh, so like are they just gonna like shouldn't they just void all of their results for their whole
uh,
careers if they ever get busted?" And I'm like, "There's a large number of people that believe in that." And he's like,
yeah,
"So why don't they do it?" I was like, "I don't know."
yeah. We haven't gotten a straight answer from anyone
Like that's a
about
good
why.
question.
Yeah, like you're like whole career. How about even 6 months back when the female world record in the
Yeah,
marathon was set? Like you're just like,
literally what he was talking about. And I
oh,
was like, I don't know how these things are written, but it is what it is. The
yeah.
enhanced game things is hilarious just because I
I'm
didn't realize he had been suspended because I
yeah.
don't
I know.
remember seeing the news that he got banned in November. Because I was like, well, this makes more sense. Because Fred was like, he got hit with a 2-year ban and then signed with the enhanced game so he can compete
Mhm.
anyways. And I was like, well, what else were you going to do?
Sure.
And then this one makes sense because it's like, oh, in November, he got hit with a 3-year ban. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, literally, what else are you going to do? I mean, I guess you could wait
Ugh.
out your ban and rehabilitate or apologize and serve it gracefully, but
Yeah,
you
exactly.
could
You could
also
be
get
gracious.
paid.
Totally, and I don't know when this event's gonna occur, but it is really changing. I remember when they announced it, enhanced
Yeah.
games, you can take whatever, and I was the major, crux point in my understanding of it was like, well, most people who are going to be excited by it don't realize how good mechanically as a sprinter you need to be to even be in the
Right.
conversation for the world record. Like, there's so many
Like, you
things.
can't just take all the drugs and, like,
Yeah.
be good enough to do it.
Yeah, it doesn't make you then like your mechanics, your agility,
Yeah.
your reaction time. And I'm like, oh shoot, I am so naive as to think that we weren't going to end up with a bunch of like former world medalists who,
Yeah.
and so then I'm like, I would love to be indignant and be like, I'm not going to pay attention whenever, but like totally going to pay. Like,
I'm not gonna
it's gonna,
delete Instagram.
yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna, if it's like pay per view and it costs a lot of money, I'll not pay that money, but then I'm gonna see it, like, and I'm like, "Oh,
Whether you
this
wanna
is."
see it or not.
Yeah, yeah, um,
Wild.
yeah, these things are wild, but, I mean, did you see that one where, like, I Am Speed, won 100
Oh,
wait,
against Tobogo?
yeah, the Fogo that one made me super sad because 'cause I'm like, I'm all here for
That was
racing, just
annoying.
yeah, but,
Yeah.
like, it felt like it didn't even what bothered me is, I really like Tobogo. He apparently slipped at the start, and so you're like,
Did you
even
see the video?
playground I think I saw, like, a grainy
No,
version
he, like,
of
literally they said go, his foot went completely backwards. He literally, like, fell, got up, and then went. Like, he was down for, like, 3 seconds before he got up, and they were only running, like, 60 meters.
it just feels like yeah, if you
It
were
was
at a
such, like,
playground,
a
your buddy
silly
would
thing.
be
You're like,
like
"Why didn't you call it back and run it again?"
yeah. Your buddy would be like, "No, no, 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 man, like, you gotta
Literally.
start it again.
Yeah.
Like, we're just doing this for kicks
The
and for
fact that
views."
that was their one take and they were, like, posted it, I was like, "This is dumb."
Yeah. I mean, I think it still leaves me, thankfully, still in Tobogo, fanboy camp. Like, he
Yeah.
seemed like he put himself in a weird position, and I wish it the hard part is he doesn't have a ton I don't know. How would you navigate it? Like someone like Tobogo is not world famous, even though he's a world
Mhm.
champion. And so connecting with I Am Speed is a good thing in theory, but then it's a little bit like if he wins, well, yeah,
Yeah.
you're so good. Yeah, I forwarded that like reel from Dawn Harper Nelson where she's just like going off on like
Yeah.
these influencers don't have like elite speed, but you only see
Yeah.
that in very controlled settings. So then I don't know, they have a lot
Mhm.
to lose and not a they have more exposure to gain. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't love the exposure though, because it just, like, paints this very weird picture of, like, he's just not that fast, and it's like,
Yeah.
this is, like, the Olympic champion, like, what are we talking about? He beat everyone on this planet, like,
Yeah.
and it's not a question. Well, except Noah. Well,
Yeah. I
he
mean,
can challenge him, but,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
there's you can count on one hand how many people this man would lose to, and Speed is not one of them.
No.
I think I was just a little bummed because, like, Speed has, like, such a large audience and it's very
Yeah.
young, which is awesome for sports, and he has done plenty of stuff with, like, NFL players, NBA players, and, like, those
Uh-huh.
are, like, way funnier and way more chill because it's, like, doing your vertical or, like, running a 40, like, things that aren't directly correlated to, like, how good of a player they are.
Yeah.
Like, just because
Little side
Speed has a
hustles.
good vertical doesn't mean, like, so and so is a bad basketball player, but it's like, if your sport is running and you lose a foot race, it, like, looks bad.
Yeah. And then it's when you say Tobogo, I think of him, he sort of has that like slight turn when he's
Yeah.
coming off the turn. He has like that posture that he really accelerates well around the turn. So I'm like, okay, so you take out the turn, like take
Mhm.
away his thing that he's really otherworldly at.
Right.
Okay, like now you're just whittling it down to like, yeah, I mean, so hopefully some speed fans in a year or two, like watch in 2 years, watch the
Tune
Olympics. They're
into
like,
World or
hey,
something.
yeah. And they're like, I remember that guy. And now he's like on the podium because man, he seems like a good dude. And I'm just like, it's just
Mhm.
I like the idea of again being more open minded about showdowns like that. I mean, but then you have like what was it? They had one of those tennis matches over the Christmas break that was like man versus woman, and you're like, well, this isn't helping anyone. This was like
Oh, yeah.
messed. Or like I'm frantically trying to think of
Yeah.
like, is there a foot race that Erica could race against other people that would be like still within the bounds of entertaining? I don't know. It's like it's hard to
It's
come up with.
funny. Well, and it's like when we do kids events they always want to like, especially like middle schoolers, they always just want to race you, and you're like, oh, like this is so and so, she's a professional runner, and they're like, race me, and
Wow.
you're like, this is why I always wear jeans and I always wear
Good.
non-running shoes because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, sorry, like I can't, because it's like I am not a professional sprinter. I
Yeah.
am a professional marathoner, and I cannot challenge you to like a 20-mile run right now because you're 10.
Yeah.
But they're like, "Oh, if you're like a pro, then race me from here to the playground." And I'm like, "I'm not doing this.
Yeah. That's
It
wise.
won't
Yeah.
do either of us either good." Like good.
If I, yeah, I'll be known for a long time in this community if I run you to the ground or like I'm racing you for an hour around the school.
Right.
They're like, no.
I think I'd go to
Um,
jail.
yeah. Yeah. They're like, please uh see Erica out. And they said that's
Yeah.
why Usain Bolt used to always come to appearances and slides, right? He would just be like,
Because
oh
the first
no,
thing they want to do is like race me, and you're like, "Can't.
yeah, not
Not in
not
the right
safe.
gear."
No. You gotta, yeah, exactly. Like
Smart man.
it seems like less of an imposition than saying like to an NBA player, like, let me play you one on one. But you hear about those stories as well, like where they're like, some rich guy is like, hey Jordan, like, let's play to
Yeah.
3. And you're like, dude, how disrespectful of like a
Like
champion.
someone's asking you to do like the hardest part of your job on the spot, like for
Yeah.
their entertainment out of the blue.
And
Like
they're just doing
you
it for
don't do
bragging
that to
rights.
people.
Yeah.
Like, would you walk up to a surgeon and be like, "Hey, can you operate on my arm right now?" It's like we're like in a Chili's. It's like, no,
Yeah. There's a butter knife. Here we go. Here we rock.
literally.
Oh man.
Gotta read the
Okay.
room
Yeah, exactly. Maybe just respect people's abilities and that they're able to perform at the highest level under intense pressure, you know.
sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like, there's a reason
sometimes.
we don't race like every day.
Totally. Wait, so other people, the other things I wanted to celebrate, you were not on the call when I was suspicious of Rory Linkletter's ability to race a half marathon, given that I've seen him a lot recently doing a lot of marathon pacing and he seemed to just not be in the
Mm,
swing of things. But man, oh man, is he in the swing of things.
yeah.
Consistently under, uh, anticipating the performances of Canadian athletes. He's Canadian half marathon record, 59:49. So that was cool to see because I was worried that he showed up at CIM, paced a whole bunch. He went to the Marathon Project, paced a whole bunch. Like I was really a fan of the positive things he's been doing for the sport. And then Dot McMahon with her, I posted on Road to the Trials Instagram that she'd qualified for her millionth
Yeah.
trials. And she DM'd back like laughter and then said it's only 6. And I'm like, dang.
Only. So
uh,
impressive.
I know. I'm like, what? She's 49 years old. She
Hmm.
runs 2:36. She's so casual about it. Um, you've heard that. Have we talked about how Matt Chittum has been trying to get her on his podcast for years? And she's like, I'm okay. Like,
No,
no.
but that's really funny.
Yeah. Like very kind about it, but like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
Dang.
so I wouldn't anticipate that she's now going to be on a super press tour. But if anyone wants to like mention to her that a lot of people would love to hear her talk about her storied career,
I mean, you guys have to for Road to Trials. Just make sure Matt's not around.
Yeah, just be like, no, we have no idea who he is.
Yeah.
Lindsay, yeah,
No
yeah, yeah,
affiliation.
yeah. It's just funny because I've doing this and approaching people, I've had to appreciate that for a lot of people, they're like, oh no, I love running and I expect the most out of myself and I have no desire to tell my story or talk about it. I'm like, oh, I love
Yeah.
stories. I love telling people stories. I love
Yeah.
highlighting other runners. I guess I can respect that. But if you ever change your mind, please come on our podcast.
Hmm.
And they're like, okay, fine, thanks.
Yeah. I mean, it's
So,
like it's nice. It is such like a funny thing because I mean, some people love to talk about themselves, but like when you're doing things like that, it's like you have to like talk about yourself and think about how many people in like any general crowd are willing to like be open and like share anything remotely personal. Like most people prefer not to. And it's like, how are
yeah.
you gonna there is no story if you're not willing to be like a little vulnerable.
Well, I appreciate your sentiment and I hope that other people share it as well. But yeah, it's like, it's a scale because, we start to worry that in influencer culture and online, like everyone becomes like a narcissist. And you're like, no. I think of it as also like these people have lived incredible experiences that I'm like, just really want to know about. I'm just like,
Yeah.
what's it like to, um, it's like when you were gracious to come on and talk about a race in Tokyo that wasn't your favorite, but I'm like, you got to race the world championship in Japan. Like that was super fun.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I feel like a lot of the like trials qualifiers, like that is their side quest. That is not
uh,
like their main story. So it is like very cool when they do share like what are you up to 99% of the time when you're not like doing this on the side? Like it's super cool.
Totally. Wait, I told this story on Instagram stories, but I want to share it again. Got to interview Turner Wiley, who runs for Brooks.
Mhm.
And he was a club runner in Seattle. He lives in Seattle. He works full time.
Mhm.
And he mentions in the interview that he has run a bunch of weeks at 140 miles a week. And you're like,
That's a lot.
okay. And because Lindsay and Matt couldn't join, I just dove at the opportunity to go even geekier. And I'm like, will you just break down for me, like, how do
What does
100,
that look like?
yeah, like, how does that come about? Because you can run your 11 to 13 in the morning and your double in the afternoon, but unless you're doing 20 every single day, then it has to, like, what?
Yeah.
So then he talks about, I'll just spill his amazing way he said
His
it, like,
secret.
yeah, his secret is, here's the key. Saturday, being a marathoner, he has to focus on getting ready for like in this case, the marathon project where he ran 209. And so
Mhm.
he does like that focused work. And so in my mind, I'm like, the numbers are just not adding up. Like he's not at 140 yet. And he's like, so then, yeah, we just like, often we'll end the week on Sunday with like a 3-hour run, like up tempo. And I'm like,
Oh,
wait a second,
so he
how
just runs
many?
a He's doing
Like
an
a
ultra on
30
Sunday.
mile
Yeah.
run. Because for
That'll do
him,
it.
up tempo is 6 minute pace. I'm like, yeah, it's
Right.
just so efficient. If sixes are just rolling off
So
your
he's
tongue.
doing 100-mile weeks with an ultra.
Yeah, with an ultra. And then you just come back and you just
Casual.
start doubling the next. It's one approach. I had a friend who I trained with like this, a young guy who like never seemed to wear out his shoes. Like he'd be like, yeah, I have like 500 or 600 miles on these shoes. And I was like, wow, like
Like they
they
look
don't even,
great.
yeah, they look totally good. And I have this pet theory that certain people just like really don't hit the ground very much. I'm not sure how they're able to propel themselves, but like it
Yeah.
doesn't add up that, yeah, I'm betting that Turner is one of those guys who just sort of skips across the surface of the earth without much.
Must be nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think a lot of people listening to this are on a run. Like that's not how I feel right
Like
now.
sinking into the ground with every
Yeah.
step. I
Yeah.
can't
Like,
relate.
wait a second. But yeah,
That's funny.
it's a fun story that, like Turner didn't know was going to be the most hilarious thing to me, but like it's fun to hear people's, well, we're putting that out later this week. And, he's on a nice progression and he was a D2 guy and now he's a sub 210. So it's really fun.
That was super
Um,
fun.
so how long are you in Costa Rica? When are you back to America?
About a week, so I'll get home next weekend. So I get like 5 or 6 days here.
So then when you're on the East Coast, someone was asking me my thoughts on treadmill running, and I don't want to do a whole
Ugh.
treadmill deep dive at an hour, but like, how do you, as a pro runner in the Northeast, utilize it or not utilize it?
I just had this conversation with my coach after Houston because the first thing we talked about was like, that was great, but like you should really like get in shape. And I was like, so true.
You should like, how your
You
whole
should like
job is like
really
getting in
start
shape.
training.
That,
Yeah.
that'd be cool if you like did your main job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I texted him was like, that was fun. Imagine if I was actually fit. And he like laughed at the message and then was like, yeah, so about like actually training. Um, because we just like the weather is so bad that like all of my like potentially up tempo stuff, it's like, oh, we're gonna do like 9 miles at like half marathon pace today. And I'm like running into a 35
yeah,
mile per hour headwind. And it's like 32 degrees. So I'm like 540 is all I got today. And like, does that work still translate? Obviously it did, but like there does come a point where like you actually need to run the paces you're supposed to run. So like after Houston, he was
fair.
like, we can like keep grinding and like effort works, effort is real, but there's gonna come a day where like if it's terrible outside, you need to be on the treadmill.
Okay.
But it's like an absolute last resort because like you just don't run the same. And I'm
Yeah.
not personally training for the 5K treadmill world championship.
No,
So
no, you are not.
I will be outside until it's like either unsafe or unproductive. And like to be unproductive, it has to be really, really bad outside. But
Okay.
I mean, it's character building is like how I look at it. Even though it's like it's not fun to be poured on when it's 40 degrees outside, but at the same time, like you still got in all that work, and then when you finally go somewhere where it's not 40 and pouring, you're way fitter than you thought you were.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
you definitely have to toughen yourself up mentally because you can't have a bad attitude and work out in bad weather. You're not gonna
Oh,
finish
no.
it. It's not gonna go well. Like, if the
Not gonna
weather
go.
is terrible, you need to come with, like, the best possible attitude on the planet. So, like, it is good training all around, like, mentally and physically, but it is deeply unenjoyable sometimes.
I'm still listening for when in this. It sounds like toughness is in not short supply, like
Yeah.
is plentiful, but then like you're saying that coach and you are like maybe neuromuscularly running at 5:10 pace, actually not just effort
Like,
wise,
sometimes
like
I, like, actually need to just do that if we can't find,
mhm,
like, a good day. So,
yeah,
yeah, I would say if we're doing stuff at, like, 10K pace or faster, and it gets later into the winter and we just can't find a good weather day to do it, that would be a day for the treadmill. But outside of that, there's not like a whole lot of days where you're like, I really, really need to hit this pace. Unless you're on
okay,
the track, then like you should probably hit your paces all the time.
yeah,
The roads are like
yeah. The
the
roads
roads
are a
are
little
much
more.
more forgiving because like it doesn't matter. Like you could have a mixed bag when it comes to the weather. You have hills, you have turns, you have the competition. So like there is something to be said about just like dealing with the hand you're dealt that morning. So you're not
Mhm.
like used to like a perfect setup. But also, like, if it's icy outside, be safe, go on the treadmill, and for me,
Yeah.
temperature-wise, if it's less than, like I used to be a hard 20 degrees, but then this year happened, and now that's bumped down to, like, if it's less than 15, I'll go inside.
Wait, why did it go down?
Because it was under 20 so much, and I hate the treadmill. So I was like, "Ah, it's like 16, I'll be fine."
Friends, I think if you're listening to this, what you're really hearing is Erica's really willing to hold the treadmill at arm's length for as long as possible.
As long as humanly
Yeah,
possible. I'm
maybe
forcing evolution as we
I
speak.
okay. I feel like I just feel like I mean, I'm not saying I'm not gonna lie to you and say the treadmill's super awesome, but like, the vibes at a Planet Fitness, some like hilarious radio going on, then throwing in your ear pods, like
You're not wrong.
it could be I can see you having fun with just like the scene a little bit. Like, that was kind of funny. Like,
It's fun when it's, like, once in a blue moon. It would not
okay.
be fun if it was, like, twice a week.
Yeah. I'm
And you
more
run different, like, I'm sure
yeah.
some people, like, have a better physical experience on the treadmill, but, like, I feel claustrophobic, and also, like, there's natural, like, variance in your cadence when you're running outside, like, maybe for, like, 30 seconds, you're a little more tired, so you're, like, a little lazy, and then maybe
Mm,
you feel good, so you, like, pick it up a little bit,
yeah.
and you're not just, like, a metronome, but, like, the treadmill, the belt is just going, so you, like, have to be the same for, like, an hour, and, like, it just feels wrong, like, I feel like I'm, like, trapped, and I hate it.
Okay. Okay. That's fair. I feel like I feel an obligation to almost build up the opposing argument, which is like it is a belt and you have to do it and it fulfills like it creates a certain stimulus that can be very
Do you
positive.
hate freedom?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
that's what I'm hearing.
And that's why I only run on the treadmill, Erica. It is
Right.
why, yeah, no, I
You're
hear
lucky
you.
you're a nice guy, Peter.
Yeah, luckily, I like to talk more trash at the gym, person to
Yeah.
person, to my left and to my right. No, I just, yeah, I've caught wind of these like sentiments where people are like, don't let anyone tell you that treadmill running workouts don't count or like that treadmill perform. And I'm like, this is
Oh,
just way too down the rabbit hole of people worrying
yeah.
about what other people think of their, like, yeah, if you're trying to post something to social media and you want maximum clout,
Yeah.
that's your own side quest. But like, yeah, in
Yeah.
terms of fitness and again, ice, stay safe. No one trains better after falling and hitting their knee on the ice. So
Right.
but yeah, it's that season for sure. And okay. Well, you'll have to share back some stories if you do use it in very specific contexts, because I think the listeners and I would benefit from hearing when you felt like it was worth your time, and unenjoyment, worth your suffering. Yes. Well, awesome. I'm
Noted.
glad that you do not have that need in the coming week. Enjoy Costa Rica,
Funny
and
enough, I'll probably be on the treadmill all week here. I was on one today.
but I'm
I had a great view.
yeah, I was gonna say, I bet the setting was pretty killer.
Yeah, no, I mean, the treadmill looks out at the infinity pool that looks out at, like, the mountains across the marina, so, like, I have no complaints there. But no, where we're at, there's, like, no roads.
Uh-huh.
There's, like, physically nowhere to run,
Yes.
so treadmill it is, but, like,
That's
that's
really
okay.
good. Yeah, I'm going to Mexico in 2 weeks, and I was, like, mapping out places to run, and then I'm like, "I should not run any of these places." Like, it just
Yeah, especially, like, solo, just,
mm-mm.
like, I made and also, like, it's a down week, I just raced, so I knew it
Yeah.
was gonna be,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
a bunch of easy runs, so I just made peace with the fact that it's a treadmill week. It's really funny
Okay.
you asked that. What will it take to get me on a treadmill?
Yeah.
Take me on vacation.
Yeah, yeah. Central America is where it works. It's a different world. Yeah, it's okay. Awesome. Well, thanks for breaking down Houston. I'm glad it went well, and we can't time to get fit sometime. Maybe in a week, we
Yeah.
can start getting fit.
Yeah, I'm gonna start
Awesome.
next time.
Awesome. Thanks for being here, friends. Let us know if there's any topics we didn't touch on, because there's so much going on in the running world, and here comes indoor season. It's going to be fun.